Fox 4 is celebrating Black History Month with a look at the past and the impact of one Fort Myers community member. This morning, our Leslie Delaspore is taking a look at the life of Dr. Ella Mae Piper, the legacy she leaves behind, and how the Fort Myers community continues to carry out her vision.
I think about it being 2021 and all the strides that all women and women of color have made, and still the things that Dr. Piper did back then stand the test of time.
Born in 1884, Ella Jones would grow up to become Dr. Ella Mae Piper. After her humble beginnings in a small town in Georgia, Dr. Piper attended Spelman College, an all-girls historically Black college or university. After graduating in 1915, Dr. Piper began her journey of shaping this great community we know as Fort Myers, Florida.
Dr. Piper was an entrepreneur. She had a beauty shop, she was a podiatrist, and right here on the grounds of the Ella Piper Center stood her bottling company. She was friends with Myra Edison and Byrne Davis, and so that philanthropic spirit ran through her and her mom, Sarah Williams. They gave back to their community, they gave back to children, the elderly, and people with disabilities. I can't imagine being a woman of color during that time and accomplishing all the things that Dr. Piper did. She truly was a revolutionary, not just for her time, but our time today.
As a humanitarian, Dr. Piper relentlessly gave back during her time. Now, 106 years later, her contributions continue with the Dunbar Community Christmas celebration.
She and her mom, Sarah Williams, took it upon themselves to not only make a Christmas Day meal, but buy gifts for all the children in the neighborhood. So year after year, kids would show up on their front lawn and they would hand out gifts. That tradition stands up today. We just had our 106th Christmas celebration. That legacy of Dr. Piper giving back to her community is something that we relish, and it's our job as stewards of her legacy to make sure that we continue those efforts in our community.
In 1954, Dr. Piper passed away, and she gave her land to the city of Fort Myers under the condition that it be used to help seniors and children in our community. Today, the city continues to hold up their end of the bargain with the Dr. Ella Piper Center, proudly sitting on the corner of Dr. Ella Piper Way.
In 1975, a group of concerned citizens approached the city council and asked them if they can use Dr. Ella Piper's building for intergenerational program to serve the seniors and children in the community.
Nearly 50 years later, the Dr. Piper Center continues to carry out the visions Dr. Ella Piper left for the Fort Myers and surrounding communities. Serving as executive director for nearly 30 years, Nina Aluna says she has an obligation to help seniors and children in our community.
Today, we currently have 4 major programs, and in April, we are so blessed that we will have 5 major programs: Senior Companion Program and the Foster Grandparent Program. We have been the local sponsor of these 2 federal programs for 30 years. And the other program that we have is the Senior Employment Program, where seniors, low-income seniors, are trained, computer training, building their resume, and to make them more employable and help them build their skills. And then, of course, the RSVP is a retired senior volunteer program that will start in April, and it will provide volunteer opportunities for seniors, regardless of their income, to provide services, help out other agencies like Food Bank or Habitat for Humanity. Foster Grandparent Program provides one-on-one mentoring and tutoring to children with special needs. And then the Faith in Action program that we currently have also provides transportation to frail elderly seniors, and they don't have to be low income.
The legacy of Dr. Piper not only lives on through her center, but the entire Fort Myers community, including the Luminary Hotel, who went the extra mile to pay their respects to a true visionary.
So when we were developing the concept, one of the things we wanted was a connection to the community. And so naturally we started to do some research on Fort Myers and the beginnings and what really made Fort Myers Fort Myers. And of course, when you go back in history, you find out that some people of notoriety like Ford and Edison, of course, gave it some notoriety and put it on the map. But it's really the people like Dr. Piper that had the connection to the community. When you dig deeper and you start looking at the community, that's when you find stories like Dr. Piper. I mean, clearly, if you read the stories and look back at her beginnings, she had a beauty shop in the part of town where typically, white people did not go. And white people went to her beauty shop. And by the same token, she got to go places that normally a black person wasn't. The same things didn't apply. So she opened doors. She was a trailblazer. She was an innovator.
Adam says when the luminary builds a new property, they can make a beautiful facade, add nice furniture, but you can't give a building soul until you make that connection with the community.
We found out very early that we wanted to be associated with that. And for me, just to go back and see the history of it and then to find out that there is a foundation and it's still true. It's true to what she wanted it to be. It helps minorities. It helps underprivileged children. It helps the needy. It helps the aging. It still does what it was supposed to do. And that's amazing. And that's why we want to be part of it. And that's why it's very important for us to be part of it.
In Fort Myers, Leslie Delaspore, Fox 4 News.
And if you'd like to see how we're celebrating Black History Month here at Fox 4, you can go to our website, fox4now.com.